Welcome to the Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast, bringing you the country's top podcast on the subject of internet marketing, with your hosts Glenn Thayer and the CEO of Intuitive Websites, Thomas Young.
Folks, welcome back to another Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast. Today, Tom and I are going to review a site that was submitted by a listener. The site we're going to take a look at today is eminimind.com, spelled EMINIMIND.com. So if you want to pull up the website, you kind of take a look at what we're going to check out here. So, Tom, let's head over to the website and let's take a look. Let's start at the top and see what they're doing well and see what they can improve on.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind in looking at this website is, how do you pronounce the domain name? We're assuming that it's eminimind.com, just because when I looked at that, I thought maybe it was eminimind.com, but maybe it is eminimind.com or some variation of that pronunciation.
Eminimind.com.
So that is the first branding point on this website is, what's the domain name? And then, is the domain name the company name? And what does a domain name have to do with the website? And if you start at the home page on the site, there's really no way that any users would be able to figure that out unless they dug into the site and started reading the content and figuring out what the site was about. So once again, we need a very clear objective for this website. And the first question that I have here is, what is the objective of the website? And then the second part of that question is, then, what is a conversion on this website, and why does the website exist? So we need to bring that together immediately. And a tagline would be great to do that. Now, what's interesting is I've had a chance to look at this website. I don't think you have, though.
I haven't. I mean, the only thing I see here, the little tagline is futures trading for a living.
Right, and so
that's what I see on the other side. And I'm looking at the website right now, and is this a blog that's information, or is this a trading site like E-Trade or one of the other TD Waterhouse or one of the...
Yeah, that's a good point. And so and the question in your mind is, what's the site about? Whenever a user has that question in their mind, then you're going to have a high bounce rate. And you're going to have people that leave because they just are not patient enough to figure it out. Now, I was patient enough to figure it out, and what we'll do here is, since Glenn is his first look at the site, we'll say, Glenn, take about 30 seconds and see if you can figure it out. I'm gonna go to start here. Okay.
Where to begin? And try to take a look and see what that is. Okay, getting started, how to become a successful trader. So now I'm making an assumption for myself, going, okay, there's a lot of information here. It looks like this is a blog site. So it's going to give me information. So first thing I'm going to think about as somebody coming to the site is, okay, what's the catch? What's the catch for them teaching me on how to be a trader? Because I don't see any places to sign up for something other than a trading plan guide that Tim has set up here. It says Tim's free trading plan guide on the right-hand side. That's the only thing I see. So looking at it is like, okay, he's got a book or an ebook that he has that I can purchase. It looks like I don't see any place to purchase it, but I do see...
Well, you assume that if there's a book on a website that you want to be able to purchase that book.
Right.
But not so easily on this website. In fact, most users will not take the time to figure out how to purchase that book, and I don't think I actually did. I mean, I don't think I was able to figure out how to purchase the book. But very quickly, you're right. You see that it's something to do with trading. It's something to do with content. And there's this guy, Tim, who's somehow involved with this. He's probably writing the content, although we're not sure. And then that's a very natural conclusion to draw is, well, what's the catch? What's in it for Tim? Why is Tim doing this? What's in it for me? I mean, I don't mind giving money to Tim if he's going to help me be a better trader.
Right.
But where and how and why?
I think I see this, and this might be one of the first things that we can look at for the website is getting started, how to become a successful trader. So I'm looking here, and it says, well, the foundation. Here's some books that you can read to give you a foundation on being a successful trader. Like, where can you start? Learn to Invest, then Learn to Trade was one. 4-Hour Workweek, which is a book by Timothy Ferriss, and then Think and Grow Rich, the old Napoleon Hill.
You're on the resource page?
This is the getting started. This is the start here. This is where I click start here. What happens here, if I click on 4-Hour Workweek, it automatically takes me to the Amazon.com site. which is fine. However, what it does is it navigates me away from the page. It doesn't open a new tab or a new window.
Yeah, and so now you're on Amazon and you're off to the races there. Yeah,
it should have a new tab, so at least opens a new tab. And what I see here is this looks to me that it is part of their affiliate program, Amazon's affiliate program.
Right, and so you know enough to think, well, maybe he's making a commission off the sale of that book from an affiliate program with Amazon, which is actually now a very complicated thing because of the way the tax regulations work. Amazon has had to shut down affiliates in a lot of states, including Colorado, although they may be bringing it back now in Colorado, which is kind of strange. But anyway, so the objective and the conversion points are not clear. They're nebulous, and Glenn and I are guessing at what we think is a conversion point. So number one on this website is have a clear tagline with what the mission of the website is and have very clear conversion points on all pages. So if you're selling your book, say buy now in a price tag. And then all the other parts of the site, the messaging, the images, the graphics, and navigation, so forth, has to lead toward that objective. So what I found out by going into the site a little deeper is that if you click on, and I can't even remember which one it was, but I think it was trading rules. The ES and 6E futures trading rules link. Then we start to see some conversion points on the site and some things start to click. And my page is opening slowly, but it is.
I have that up.
Okay, so you can take a look at that, and you can see that I believe if you scroll to the bottom of that page, you'll see
there is a place to add to cart.
Add to cart. So all of a sudden now we have a cart on this website, which is, unusual that you would see that. And you see the E-mini Mind trading rules for ES and 6E futures. And so then I thought, well, is he, wanting to sell this? And if so, why is it so buried below the fold on an interior page? That's number one. And then number two, I clicked on the About Tim because I figured this site must really be done by Tim. I mean, he must be the founder of the site. And it's an interesting little thing. If you scroll down, you'll start to see this term called E-mini S&P and Euro FX futures. Now I'm starting to get it. So it's the E-mini Mind. So it's the mind that focuses on E-mini S&P and Euro futures. And there's a book in here for sale. So we have just figured this out. We have taken the time to solve the puzzle of this website. And we've talked about this in other podcasts, is that websites shouldn't be a puzzle to solve. It shouldn't take two intelligent people, Tom and Glenn, working together to figure out, what does this mean? What does this domain name mean? What's a conversion point? And how does all this come together? It should be right in your face, straightforward. So you might even want to have, if possible, have the website be futurestradingforaliving.com, or if this is possible, the E-mini S&P EuroFuturesTrading.com website or something. I mean, you want it to be very, very straightforward so users get the message.
And I think I'm putting it out here that I believe the purpose of the site, to really find out what it is he's a futures trader. So Tim is a futures trader sharing information on what he has found works and what doesn't work, and he's sharing that information. Mm-hmm. He's making the money off of the book, the ebook that he wrote, and then the affiliate programs that he's a part of on things that he suggests that you do for information, other information products or books that can be purchased. And so I'm thinking that's how he's monetizing the site.
Right, but he's not selling. He's only selling one of his books. It looks like there may be more than one book here, but only one's being sold. So I mean, there's still confusion around what he's selling, and is he selling consulting services as well? It doesn't look like it is. So, those are some areas where the site is struggling. But what the site is doing that's really well is it's very well written. It's conversational. It has a lot of content. It has the good structural part taken care of as far as good navigation system and so forth, but it needs to strengthen this whole conversion process and this whole idea of what is the objective and goal of the website. And I really do think it needs a couple more areas of improvement. One is organization, and that would include link titles, navigation, and scrolling on pages and things like that. And it needs more organization. It also needs a professional designer to come in and help out with the design elements. There are probably I don't know. I mean, we can count, but it looks like there's 6 or 7, maybe more different types of fonts on the page. And if you go to interior pages, you even see more fonts. We just don't want that many fonts on a page. In fact, now that I look at it, there might be as many as a dozen different fonts on each page when you include colors and all caps and that sort of thing. So the site really needs a designer to come in and make it work. I'm not sure about the logo and eminimind.com domain. I think that also needs some work too that would tie in better. The book, Trading Rules for the ES and 6E Futures, that has a better, I think even a better logo than the website does. So you might want to put that logo on your website. The site is doing some things well. I think that it's actually a really good start. He's obviously an author and he's written a whole book. So Tim is a very motivated individual to get content out there. I just think he can do a lot more to turn it into some type of a conversion or a money-making venture for him. But if I met Tim in person, I'd ask him, so what are your goals with this site? Maybe his goal is to just educate and just give information away for free. Maybe that is his goal. I would bet it's probably not. I bet he probably wants to sell some books and has some other goals. But, if he does have other goals, they're not very clear on the site.
Or does he want to speak?
Is that one of the things? Speaker, presenter, consultant? Yeah.
Because if he wants to do that and get that out, that's another link that could be on there.
Right, and I think that if Tim hasn't already done this, there are probably some excellent websites to go look at. Not just in his very niche area of this type of trading, but trading websites in general, trading consulting websites, or even financial services websites. Once you start to do a competitive analysis, you'll start to see that there are trends out there. There's a look and a feel and a messaging and a style that fits for financial-based websites or trading-based websites. And I think that Tim has to basically learn from that and follow those best practices, which would include things like design, font choices, navigation structures, and things like that. I don't know if you know one off the top of your head, Glenn. I mean, E-Trade comes to mind, but that's probably a little bit too broad. But E-Trade has a certain style and design behind it. It's very clean.
Right.
It has a ton of data on it. If you want data, you can certainly get a ton of data there. But they also don't let design get in the way of their functionality and getting into the trading. And I would bet also that E-Trade has lots and lots of content. You want to go find content on pointers and things like that, I'm sure it's in there.
You go to Trading Tools or research and guidance. That would be the two there. There's something else back on Tim's website here under video. And this is always an interesting thing for websites because it's a great tool to keep people on your website. What he's done under the video tutorials, he sends you to his YouTube channel instead of embedding the videos specifically into the blog.
Yes.
And I don't. Maybe you can speak to that. The differences between whether or not you embed the video into your website versus letting people go to YouTube. And once again, it does navigate away from his site from there to his YouTube channel.
It comes back to the goal. I mean, if in fact Tim is doing this because he's a very charitable person, he wants to give away information, it doesn't really matter. I mean, he just wants to give the information away, and you're on the YouTube channel, you're on the website, whatever. But if you are looking to convert and drive sales of your book or get a consulting or speaking gig or something like that, then yes, absolutely, you want people to stay on your website and you want them to work through this conversion funnel so that they'll look at your video, they'll look at your blog, they'll read a little bit of this, read a little bit of that, and then say, this is great stuff. I'm going to buy the book, and the book is so convenient to buy because it's on every page, and I've seen that conversion point. I know what I'm getting into.
So what are the things? Let's look at this from two different aspects. Let's look at number one. Let's look at it from a standpoint that he wants to drive traffic. He wants to get revenue. He wants sales of the books to subsidize the time that he spends on the content. Mm-hmm. On that end of things, what can he do specifically to make this site better so he has additional conversions?
Yeah, well, number one is we need to see the pricing on any book that's listed here. So if you have this book that's called Creating a Trading Plan, it looks like that's the name of it, that needs to be set up with a Buy Now button. Click here to buy now, click here to add to cart with pricing, just like you did with the other book that's under Trading Rules. And I would have that a little icon developed so that at any point that someone's reading content or looking at content, looking at videos or whatever, that they can click on that link that goes to the book. And then you should also make sure that as you talk about these different things, you have links coming back to your book, explaining to people that they can learn more in the book, or that the book will walk them through a plan and so forth. That's if you're wanting to sell the book. Now, you should also have an e-version of the book here, and it looks like you do. Instant digital download. And you probably should have the book listed in Amazon and other sources as well. I'm not sure if it's there. And I bet you, he's got to be selling the book, because if I just read some of the content around the book here, it looks like he's really promoting that.
Something else that I noticed on the website too, especially looking at, since it is set up on it looks like probably a WordPress platform, some blog site, a blog platform.
I was thinking it looks like WordPress or Joomla for sure.
And what he needs to do is, I first thing I thought of is, where's the search tool? Where's the search box? And as I scrolled down, I did find that there is a search box, but it's down below. And with so much content and because it's specialized content, it would probably be nice to have that search box up top, because it doesn't take a lot of real estate up, and it's something that's really easy to go, okay, I'm looking for something specific, let me type it in the box and search for it, especially because he has so much content on the site.
And that ties back to the earlier comment we made about getting the site organized and perhaps even restructuring the navigation structure so that you've got a resources section. Okay, so when you have a link that says resources, useful tools, and then you have all these other links which are basically resources, that starts to become confusing. So I would want to organize your content into articles, newsletters, blogs, videos, and so people can get a handle on what type of content they're looking at. And then you could even have a link that says useful tools if you're going to send people to links or something like that. But I think that would help organize the content a little better. And then the search box, if you have enough content to warrant a search box, then I would put that at the top of the page. And looking actually at resources now, you see that resources really is not so much. I don't know if we would call these resources as much as we would call it, places other than this website to get information.
Right.
So it might even be external links or something like that. But it's, when I think of resources, I'd like to see your resources in one place and what you offer.
Which is probably where all of the start here to begin, where to begin, and in the blog. I see that's where all the resources are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, wonderful.
Yeah, and make sure, if you're going to have a picture of a sunset on a, tropical island, put a caption in there. Put a caption that says, is your dream to retire in paradise? And, I can help you get there. So, tie that picture in so we don't have to make assumptions on what that is. But yeah, good job on getting the content together and getting the foundation of the site built. Now let's just organize it and design it a little better for more results.
Yeah, and he did do a great job on the other graphics that are in there too. As you scroll down, he's got some other graphics that are in there that do tie. Into
good use of screen grabs, and the social networking links are all there. That's good. Although I'm not, I see some links here that aren't universal. Like I would as much as possible when you're linking to social networking websites, try to use the most common, most often used icon, because some of these I don't even know what they are. And the Facebook one, I'm not sure it's Facebook, but watch out for the use of icons because people will just get confused there.
Yeah, and I think at the very top he does have them out with the Facebook like, the tweets, the Google Plus icon there.
Yes.
And he's got a Facebook share. So he does have those up at the top. So that works as well. Well, wonderful. Well, anything else? Any last-minute wrap-ups with the action plan for any of our listeners?
Right. So this basically, I think a lot of folks can learn from what we just talked about on this website, on Tim's website, and just a few action items to think about. One is that as much as you can simplify your site, the better. And I think in this case, because you've come so far, working with a designer, a really good website designer, even if they don't do anything, they just give you some consulting, would be a great step. And then focus on several really clear taglines and headers that you can use not only to explain the website, the domain name, and so forth, but also use those taglines to drive conversions. And then I would also ask this question. We didn't talk about this, but obviously, Tim is doing some really good stuff offline. How is the book selling offline? How is that working with whatever you're doing within your business? Pull some of that into the website as well. Review competitors for best practices. And then finally, get this content organized in a way that's a little more intuitive for users, that's a little more simple to follow. And that'll probably start with rewriting your sitemap and the navigation into more intuitive sections like we mentioned earlier.
Wonderful. And for all of our listeners out there, if you have a website that you would like us to review, please don't hesitate to shoot us a note. You can do that at info@intuitivewebsites.com. And we look forward to having you join us with the next podcast.
This has been an Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast. For more information and to see all the available podcasts and much more, visit intuitiveblog.com. If you have a website you would like us to review or an issue you would like to see covered in future podcasts, email us at info@intuitivewebsites.com.